So one person was asking, let me read this. Hello, PerFinEx. I am nervous about stock investing because of Corona and Trump. Okay, so you probably mean the US elections. We'll see who wins. It's in 2 or 3 weeks, right? Gold rises and rises, and Warren Buffett just bought gold. Should I buy gold too? Okay, this is the message that was sent to us. If we read this one more time, I am nervous about stock investing because of, and then you can replace Corona and Trump with whatever. So something short term is what I recognize first. First of all, you're right. This year has the potential to be very volatile. Prices could go up and down a lot. I remember the day last time Donald was voted into office, the stock market opened like 8% minus and recovered in the same day, actually. So 1 week afterwards, nobody remembered anymore. So when you're nervous about the US elections, the first tip is don't focus on the short term, focus on the long term. At the end of the year, probably nobody will talk about these elections anymore, depending on what happens, but high likelihood. Invest regularly. So when you expect, and this is a right assumption, when you expect sharp increases and declines, start regularly with small money. Don't dump everything into it at once because you can have a bad timing, and don't make any big bets. These are certainly the tips I can give you when you are nervous because of something short or mid-term. Then you're saying gold rises and rises. Okay. I remember the news that gold just hit $2,000 per ounce or something earlier this year. It probably came back with the stock market now. So for the last 2 weeks, everything kind of declined. But when gold rises, we know one thing. You should have bought probably in the Corona crash, so before it started to rise. But what does this mean for now? So always remember, past performance is no guarantee for future results. That is very important. If you just remember one sentence from today, it's this, really. And then Warren Buffett just bought gold. Not sure if this is true. I remember that he invested in a gold mining company like a couple of weeks ago. And that's different than buying gold. Buying a gold mining company is not the same as buying physical gold. And also buying gold would be difficult for him because he invests usually like hundreds of millions at the same time. But anyway, the question is, why did he buy this? And at least I don't know. Maybe you can find out if you're interested. But the question is, why did he buy it? And do you follow the same logic if you can find out why he bought it? Just blindly following him, I don't think that's a good strategy, even though he's a pretty successful investor. So whoever, if in case you don't know, Warren Buffett is basically the most successful investor in human history. Nobody's like even close. But this is not a reason, I think, to blindly just follow him without knowing his reasons. I mean. And then your last sentence is, should I buy gold too? Well, why gold? I mean, what's your assumption? Or what's What's the goal that you want to reach with buying gold? Usually there's you didn't state this, and maybe you're not watching, but usually there's three arguments, and they're always the same, why people talk about buying gold, and especially buying gold, and this suits very well your message, especially buying gold when the stock market is going up and down a lot, when it's pretty shaky. There's always the same three arguments, and people always start talking about gold at these times. I don't really understand why, but it seems to be pretty meticulous and happening like all the time. So reason number one is they think it's a protection if the stock market falls, which is not true. Look at and of course I have proof. Look at what gold did in 2008 in the global financial crisis. Look what gold did earlier this year with the corona crash. Gold fell as well. So just because stocks fall doesn't mean that gold rises. This is reason number one. Reason number two is they think it's protecting them against inflation. So the rise in prices, there's this rumor that when the prices rise, gold rises too. I don't see this connection either, to be honest. And there has been a really good study done in the US a couple of months or even a couple of years ago, that was comparing the salary of soldiers in the Roman Empire and US soldiers today. So basically 2,000 years of human history. And what they found out is, some US university, what they found out is that a Roman Empire soldier back in the day, 2,000 years ago, got something like 2.5 or 3 ounces of gold per year as salary. And even when gold is like at 2K per ounce, so $2,000 per ounce, that's like 4,000. That's like $4,000. So let's say it's 3 ounces, then it's $6,000. So I don't believe, like, even the lowest ranks would probably do more from US soldiers right now. So no correlation between stocks and no correlation between inflation either. All right, so the third argument, and this is basically where when the proof is presented to people, they always come up with argument number 3, and it's kind of the insurance thought. So if the whole world breaks down, gold will be worth something. Probably true. I mean, gold has always been worth something, and it probably will continue to be worth something. But it depends how you think, how bad you think the world will break down. I mean, think this through. Like, think of the Titanic, and you have a lot of gold, and you want to buy your seat in a rescue boat. It doesn't matter how much gold you have. You can't buy a seat in a rescue boat because this is worth more than anything. Or maybe when we have a vaccine. So the WHO just released a statement about the vaccine, because apparently in the US we're close to having a vaccine at the end of this year. But what they said is that so against corona, obviously. But what they said is that probably young people won't get it until 2022, because it's more important for old people to get it. So you can't buy a vaccine with gold either. You can't also buy food. Like if the world breaks down, who wants gold if food is the currency? So I don't believe this, but the interesting question remains, why do people want a gold? And also, to answer your question, long story short, should you buy gold right now? So I think people like it because it's shiny, because they can touch it. Some people might even like it because it's anonymous. So nobody knows that you have it. Nobody knows that you bought it. You can buy it with cash. So on the one hand, that's pretty cool. On the other hand, when you get robbed at home, that's not so cool, because either you need a safe, or you need an insurance against it, or you need to store it somewhere else, which costs then again. It also doesn't produce anything. So a bond produces interest. Real estate produces rental income. Stocks produce dividends. Gold doesn't produce anything. So you only have one chance to make money when the price rises, and of course there's no guarantee for that. So if you're interested in gold for whatever reason, hopefully this gave you some insight now. If you're interested in gold for whatever reason, maybe try to buy it on paper. So for example, like gold mutual funds or gold ETFs. That's much easier than buying gold bars, and also probably cheaper and not that much hassle with storage and anything. And maybe as input, maybe diversify by not just gold, but diversify across the precious metals. So there's precious metals funds or ETFs, where there's copper, silver, platinum, whatever, a lot of different metals in there. And if you want to go one step further, there's also like natural resources funds or ETFs. So there's rare earths, oil, gas, and a lot of other stuff in it.